Hey guys, it's Lizard here, and welcome back to another video on the channel, or welcome if it's your first time here. But in today's video, we are going to be discussing which bridging methods I believe are worth it to learn in 2021, because bridging has gotten a lot more advanced and intricate, and there's a lot more people that are into advanced style bridging, so we're going to be talking about all the different types of bridging methods today. We got breezily bridging, speed bridging, moonwalking, god bridging, tele bridging, all of those, and we're going to be just discussing which ones are worth it to learn, because not every single one of them is at the end of the day. So which ones should you be learning? Let's get into it. Alright, so the first method we're going to be talking about is ninja bridging, also known as just regular speed bridging, and we're going to be talking about just the normal version of this and also the inclined or diagonal version of this. And I think, honestly, this is just obviously the most easy one to learn, and it's probably the one that every decent player that's interested in bed wars, bridging, etc. should learn how to do, because it's pretty simple. It probably takes you about like a week to master, and I think that overall it's really going to pay off. It speeds you up a lot compared to just slow bridging completely shifted. It's a huge difference, and once you start learning how to do it, you'll definitely be able to go faster and faster as time goes on. So after a couple months, I'd say you peak with speed bridging, and a lot of people are fine with just sitting there, happy with that, but some people want to go even farther, so let's talk about the more advanced bridging methods. Alright, so the first advanced bridging method we're going to be going over is breezily bridging. Breezily bridging is essentially the simplest form of a non-shift bridge, where you don't shift at all the entire bridge. Breezily bridging is where you go left and right while you go backwards, so that you can maximize the time you're standing on a single block. That way it's easier to not shift, and at the end of every block you do a drag click. You could also single click, obviously, but the drag clicks make it a lot easier. Now, breezily bridging is widely regarded as probably the most useless bridging method, because speed bridging is actually faster than it. If you are very good at speed bridging, you will be able to go faster than a consistent breezily bridger, which, I mean, is a little bit funny, but obviously breezily bridging is just more for the flex of not having to shift while you bridge. I'd say it's worth it to learn if you want just something funny, cool to show off, because it's pretty simple in my opinion. It might take you less than a month to learn, but if you're going for speed and improvement, breezily bridging is not the way to go. I don't really recommend it overall. The next bridging method we're going to be talking about is moonwalking. Moonwalking is an absolutely amazing bridging method for going short distances, in my opinion. I think that it really shines when you're trying to go like those last 5 or 6 blocks in like a game of Bed Wars, or just if you get a little nervous at the end of your bridge and you want to just kind of show off and do something cool. It's really great. It's not super complicated to learn. The time frame I'd give it to learn it is probably somewhere around a month, maybe a month and a half, because it's really hard to get consistent, but essentially what moonwalking is kind of looking at the block on an angle and walking straight backwards while tapping your D key, or if you're looking the other way, tapping your A key. The essential movement is just that you're going backwards and moving to the side every little bit so that you don't fall off. Overall, I would say moonwalking is definitely a good method to learn, especially if you want to learn to god bridge, because it's a great stepping stone to god bridging, as it's the fastest non-shift bridging method before god bridging, and overall will be very good for different scenarios. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Alright, so the next and probably most anticipated bridging method to be talked about today is god bridging. Should you learn it or should you not? Honestly, if you want to learn god bridging, you're going to have some serious dedication to the game, because it's not something you can learn overnight. It's probably going to take you a couple of months to get, like, to even do, and then once you learn how to do it, you're going to have to spend a couple more months getting consistent at it. It takes a long time to get good at god bridging, but in the end, it's very worth it. It's so much faster than any other bridging method that I've mentioned previously. It's super fun to do, and it's a great way to show off and get to middle really fast, or MC Play HD, you can get easily top 1% if you know how to god bridge. God bridging is essentially when you're looking at the block on the side and you walk straight backwards sideways, and you want to just jump every 6 to 8 blocks, and that'll allow you to go as fast as possible. It's overall just a great bridging method. It's definitely worth learning if you have commitment to the game. If you're committed enough to Minecraft, you can definitely learn god bridging, but if you're somebody who's gonna play like once, twice a week maybe, and you only play for like an hour or so, honestly, you probably just max out at speed bridging, maybe learn a little bit of breezily or moonwalk, but god bridging is not the way to go unless you're going to have some serious dedication to the game. Alright, and the last bridging method I wanted to mention in this video is Tele Bridging. Obviously, on my channel, I don't know how to do Tele Bridging. I've tried a little bit, dabbled in it, but it's just not that easy for me, and I can't really hold my mouse when I drag click, which you have to do to be able to Tele Bridge. You can also butterfly to Tele Bridge, which is a little bit harder, but Tele Bridging is overall not a great bridging method to learn. And I only say this because there's really nobody that's consistent at it yet. So few people even know how to Tele Bridge, and of those people, none of them can consistently Tele because most servers kind of glitch out. And even if the servers don't glitch out, it's impossible to be able to do that kind of motion every single time. So it's not a consistent bridge whatsoever. It is extremely fast, so much faster than God Bridging. And if you're very, very committed well beyond God Bridging, I'm currently at more advanced God Bridging with double clutches when I'm doing my bridges. But I'm nowhere close to being able to Tele Bridge, and it's honestly a huge amount of dedication way beyond God Bridging, so the time frame I'd give it, I couldn't even really give a good time frame for it because I have never learned it, but I would say that it's very difficult. If you're extremely dedicated to the game, this is a bridging method you might want to learn, but overall it's not really worth it because the speed increment is great for placing high on leaderboards, but it's not practical for any bed wars or bridging servers or anything like that. So, if you want to place number 1 on the leaderboard, I don't know, go for it. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but I would not say this is a bridging method worth learning. Yeah, and don't even consider Tele Bridging unless you can already, like, consistently God Bridge, clutch, drag click, all of that. Tele Bridging is a super, super difficult method, and I would not say it's worth learning overall. But if you're super committed to the game and want to place high on leaderboards, then I would say it's worth it for you. Obviously, it all comes down to personal preference. Alright, so that pretty much sums up my recommendations for which bridging methods I think you guys should be learning in 2021. But yeah, if you consider subscribing, that would be just amazing. Obviously, feel no inclination to. If you don't want to subscribe, you don't want to subscribe. It's completely fine. Not every YouTuber you watch you have to subscribe to. Don't feel obligated to, of course. But if you did enjoy today's video and watched it all the way to the end, maybe that's a sign. So consider subscribing, keep it on the table, and I'll see you guys soon.